Thank you, YouTube subscribers, for tuning into this channel. This is a lecture series on music theory in our wonderful world of music. The title for our first lecture is called You've Got Rhythm. We're going to start with rhythm because without rhythm there would be nothing else in music. It's our basic foundation for all music. It starts with rhythm. The first goal will be to learn the language of music. Just like any other language that you want to learn, there will be words that you'll need to learn, meanings, labels, and so the first goal will be to learn the language of music. And so we'll start with a vocabulary list. And please note what they are. And we'll be adding to this from time to time. We'll start with the meanings of some of these words here for you in a little bit. But I wanted you to see some of the words that we're dealing with here. Words like staff, a note, the body of a note, the stem of a note, the flag of a note, the time signature, tempo, measure, bar line, subdivision of beat, beats, events, rests, syncopation. By no means is this a complete list. We'll be adding to this list as we go through the lecture series. So here we have the origin of rhythm. Believe it or not, you've been exposed to rhythm since the day you were conceived. The minute your heart has been formed and it starts beating and your senses have been developed, you'll be able to hear your own heartbeat. You'll hear your mother's heartbeat. You'll hear your mother's breathing. You can even hear the blood movement flowing through the umbilical cord once that's established. And all the sounds that are outside of the womb, close by, all voices that are close by, music, noise, everything that you can hear, you'll be able to hear as a fetus and as you're developing. And you'll recognize rhythm patterns later in life that you were inherited from listening to that time of period for yourself. We'll be studying all of this in the ensuing lectures. All right, now for our benefit, I have downloaded to myself a lovely little program that is free for your use. Let's see if I can raise this a little. There we go. Oops. I tried to get it all on there. Just give me a moment here. Let me resize this. All right. Now I've resized this so that we can look at this particular software that I'm using. I'm going to encourage that you download this software. It is open source, free software, and it's called Muse Score. And the address is located in the comments section of this YouTube presentation, as well as on the screen flashed for you, www.musescore.com. And this is a wonderful little program because it adds more, as you can see with my cursor, it adds more words for us to learn. Some of the words you'll note they're already on our list, but it also allows us to actually visualize what we can feel as far as rhythms are concerned, and so that we can reproduce them and recreate them. And it also has the ability to actually play the sounds so that you can actually hear it. Here are some of the note values that we talked about. Notes. There are whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th, 32, and 64. And they also the equivalent to rests, because the rests are silence. It's important to note silence is just as important in music as sound. These are the typical rhythms that can be accomplished. And what do we see here? We see a name of an instrument. We see a staff line. A staff line is used similarly to in mathematics, the x-axis, which shows us time. This is time. Each one of these to here is a measure. This is a bar line, another measure, bar line, another measure, bar line, another measure, bar line. Double bar at the end means that is the end. And you note these numbers 4 and 4. The bottom number tells us what kind of a note gets equivalent to one beat. Here it's a quarter note. You see where it's highlighted? These are quarter notes. In percussion instruments like snare drums and cymbals, X is denoted as the body of the note, as opposed to filled-in notes for notes that we'll be using once we learn all about tones. And this is so time, a measure, 4 beats to a measure. And you notice that this is equivalent to one of these. These are 2 eighth notes. These are eighth notes. So 2 of them make 1 quarter note. So you have beat, 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 beat. Rest, 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 rest. Once we start, there's no stopping. It's like a regular beat. It's like a heartbeat that's moving along. Or you get on a train and you just keep right on going. So this is a typical 4-measure line of a percussive instrument that is demonstrating to us what some basic rhythm patterns are. Your heart, for instance, would be going dump, dee 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 dump, and so on and so forth. All right. So that's a basic beginning of. Let's see if we can play this so that you can hear it. I don't know if you heard that or not. Maybe we can raise the sound a little bit. Let's try this. You hear that? You see, so you can hear it, you can see it, and pretty soon you'll be able to play it too, because on future lecture series we'll be bringing in my keyboard, where I will show you how you can play these and feel them. Or you don't even need a keyboard. You could just tap the edge of a table or a chair. Well, I used to do that when I was little. I would make rhythm sounds on the kitchen table. I would drive my mother crazy. But I would do that. I would practice my rhythm exercises on the kitchen table with my fingers and my hands. And you can do this too by practicing bum, 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 bum. You can do it by like I did. You can go ta, 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 ta. My theory instructor in college used to love the syllable ta. And so that's why I chose that again here. So this is your time signature again. Let's review, which tells us what kind of note is equal to 1 beat and how many beats there are in every measure. 4, 4, and then rest and rest. In future lecture series, we'll have additional different rhythm patterns that we can practice. In our lab sessions, you'll have whole pages that you'll end up doing. And then later on, we'll talk about these other items that are on this list over here, which we'll be adding to our vocabulary list. And That's basically the first lecture on rhythm. The next lecture will get a little more complicated, where I'll show you how we plot these in, how we can rearrange them, how we can come up with all kinds of different rhythm patterns that are good to practice, because the practice is in being able to get through the whole thing in the allotted time. Time is one of the most important aspects of music theory. Once we start to play something, we're constricted to that time measurement. In fact, there's an instrument called a metronome that keeps track of our time. I used to practice to it by starting a metronome at a certain rate. It can slow down or speed up, but once it starts, it stays with that marking. In music, written music, usually it's marked at the beginning up here somewhere, where the equivalent, it'll state mm equals, and then there'll be a note value equals how many times that comes about. 60 beats per minute is equivalent to actual time passage in our universe. 60 beats per minute is a second, and that's how we measure time in our universe right here on this planet. Einstein also said that that can be changed if we are someplace else moving at a very fast rate. So time can be bendable. But here on this planet where we write this music, it will be equivalent, 60 beats will be equivalent to 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Each one of those is a second in time as it passes by. A lot of music is commonly written in that time period, and a lot is written in exactly twice as fast, 120. 120 would be 2 beats per second. Each second that goes by is ta 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 ta. Here it's ta 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 ta. Rest, 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 rest. All right. So that's a nice recap of first beginning of the rhythm, and next lecture we'll be dealing with some more things about rhythm and how they can be manipulated. Things like, well, it's not listed here, but we listed it on our, is syncopation. We'll be dealing with syncopation a lot because a lot of the modern music that you hear on TV and on the internet and in popular music deals with syncopation. Syncopation is nothing more than putting an accent on something other than what is known as a downbeat. These are downbeats, downbeat. This is a downbeat, this is an upbeat. So if you emphasize this and make it longer, then that is syncopation. Ta-ta-ta. If we did a lot of syncopation through here, it would be ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. When you listen to music, you'll recognize these. You'll hear them. You'll understand them better as you're listening to some music. Also, please remember that if you're a fan of movies, you're going to really make a difference in understanding music, because you'll understand the theory behind how some of the music is used to enhance the story. There will be certain rhythms that are used to dictate movement, or stationary, sustained notes, notes that hold without any rhythm, are usually used for passages where there's thinking going on between the dialogue, and then where there's action, where there's a chase music, or there's any of the action series that you watch, you'll hear all kinds of syncopation. So this is what you can look forward to in upcoming lectures. Hope you enjoyed this first one. Please, you can review your vocabulary list from time to time and study what they mean. And we've mentioned a few things on it, like notes, stems, time signature, staff, rests. Those are some of the things we've already talked about. So, best of luck to you, and hope to see you soon. Welcome, YouTube subscribers, to Seven World Productions, a division of Angelgram Music. Now, this channel is dedicated to inspiring the viewer with episodes about 7 special interests common to all of us. My name is Gino, owner of Angelgram Music and executive director of 7 World Productions. There are 7 worlds for you, the viewer, to choose from. The world of art, the world of books, the world of faith, the world of family, the world of food, the world of games, and the world of music. Check out the promo clip of each world for details. Now, together we're going to discover 7 worlds that will inspire all of us to enrich our lives. Be sure to click like and leave your comments, and above all, subscribe to receive notification of updates in future episodes. Go and be inspired.